Way back in May of 2017, King Arthur Legend of the Sword was released. And it was a flop. It wasn't even one of those movies that got reviewed well even though it was a flop. No, the critics said it was crap and it was a flop. I personally did not go see this movie in the theaters. However, to me, the trailers seemed kind of cool. They did look weird, but they looked pretty cool. So I did see its Rotten Tomato rating at like 29%, not very good, and was a little disappointed. However, a few reviewers that I do go to and trust actually said this movie was pretty good. This intrigued me. I wondered what made a whole bunch of people say it was really bad, and a few people say, hey guys, no, this is actually pretty good. I kind of forgot about it for a while because, you know, my life doesn't revolve around King Arthur Legend of the Sword. Eventually, however, this year for Christmas, I got it. I didn't ask for it. I offhandedly mentioned to my parents that it was interesting. Apparently, it was on sale on Amazon for like $5, so they got it for me. We watched it Christmas Day. And I was surprised. It was really good. And I thought this would make a really good Film Rents video talking about a movie that I personally really enjoyed, yet most people didn't. So today we're gonna be doing something a little different. I'm gonna be kind of analyzing and reacting to a specific review of this movie and kind of giving my opinion along the way. I've never done this style of video before, so here goes nothing. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at Rolling Stone's King Arthur Legend of the Sword review. I mean, Rolling Stone's a pretty well-known source. They seem pretty reputable and somewhat fair, I think. So the title of this review is King Arthur Legend of the Sword Review. Welcome to a king-sized pile of crap. Right off the bat, you can kind of see that they're, trying to get some clicks with this title. I think the author probably thinks he's a really hilarious guy. So the little subtitle is Guy Ritchie's loud, loose take on the British monarch and his, butt-kicking round table is a lot of sound and fury signifying nothing. 1 out of 4 stars. I think you can kind of tell how the writer really feels about this movie. He isn't pulling any punches. He really thinks it's pretty much crap. Let's read on here. Director Guy Ritchie can turn London crime dramas into cinematic lightning. Think of his breakthrough movie Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch, and Rock'n'Rolla. But apply his fast cuts and jagged pacing to the Arthurian legend and you get, well, a brutal, bleeding mess. That about sums up King Arthur Legend of the Sword, an epic bore that believes if you make a movie long and loud and repetitive enough, audiences will conclude it's saying something profound. Wrong. The author kind of establishes, hey, I like Guy Ritchie. I've seen his other movies and I like them. Honestly, I have not seen any of those 3 movies, although I have heard they're pretty good. I have seen Guy Ritchie's Sherlock Holmes movies, and I really do... I enjoy the directorial style that he has and the editing style that he has. Basically, right off the bat, he says, apply his unique style to King Arthur and you don't get something that's very good, which actually, personally, I disagree with. I think this is kind of a personal just disagreement. This isn't something that necessarily has to do with the film, but I really did like how Guy Ritchie's style translated into this movie. I think it was different. I think it was cool. Now, some people just don't like that, and I think that's kind of what this author is saying. He just really doesn't enjoy that. That's what calls the movie an epic bore and that it's long and loud and repetitive. Now, I also personally disagree with this. I found the movie very interesting, and I think you can say it's a generic story, and it is a generic story, but I think it's a generic story. It's that hero's journey story, but told in a fresh, new way. And to me, that did not make it boring, and it wasn't long and loud to me. So far, I mean, I think these are all just personal things that me and this reviewer disagree on. So, I mean, I can't hold that against him necessarily. Ritchie's take on the once and future king is more a reflection of binge-watching adoration for Game of Thrones, a sense that he fooled the public before with 2 Sherlock Holmes blockbuster puffballs and his early experience making music videos for German dance bands. It's a tie for most annoying ingredient, the pounding soundtrack or the non-stop cliches. The filmmaker begins his relentless visual attack by thrusting us into nonsensical action. A herd of elephants thunder about as King Uther, Eric Bana, finds himself betrayed by his bad boy brother, Vortigern, Jude Law, elegantly slimy. The villain aims to kill the king's young son. Not so fast. The lad is spirited away and raised in a brothel where the whores have hearts of gold and offer countless life lessons. This is where we get into kind of the sarcastic area of the review. His first kind of problem with it is the soundtrack. Personally, I enjoyed the soundtrack. I thought it was unique and cool. I can see why someone else wouldn't. It was different. It was kind of in your face. It was kind of loud, but personally I enjoyed it. It was something that I hadn't necessarily heard before, and I thought it sounded cool. And as for non-stop cliches, Yes, this movie is filled with cliches, but like I said before, it's supposed to be the hero's journey, the reluctant hero's journey, told in a fresh way with a different style. I recognized this as the movie went on. I recognized that it was going to be cliche filled. I mean, almost all of King Arthur's story is cliched because we all grew up with it. We all know it. To us, it's a cliche because it's a classic story that almost all stories are even based on. It's the reluctant hero story. And to me, I think when you watch a King Arthur movie, you have to recognize that it will be filled with cliches because that's what King Arthur is. King Arthur is a cliche. The nonsensical action that he speaks of, the elephants thundering about as King Uther finds himself betrayed, yeah, all that stuff. To me, I find that interesting. I mean, it's a part of the King Arthur legend. It's epic, it's cool, it's legendary, and I thought it fit the beginning of the story well. And the cool giant elephants are actually a part of one of the Arthur myths. I also enjoyed the part where King Arthur was spirited away on a boat. Like it reminded me of the Moses story. I am a Christian, I enjoy biblical symbolism, and that's what I saw that as. So far, I think the biggest difference between me and the reviewer was expecting something artsy, something that is more than what a King Arthur story is. And I think a King Arthur story is just supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a legend. It's supposed to be action-packed. It's supposed to be King Arthur, because I think that's what King Arthur is. And I think the other big difference is that he just doesn't enjoy the directorial style of this movie, when I personally did. It was only when Arthur, played by Charlie Hunnam, much better served these days by the Lost City of Z, manages to pull Excalibur out of a stone that this presumed son of Abel de Huor realizes that he's meant for bigger and better things. Of course, Vortigern wants him dead, but Arthur gets protection from his mates with such slangy names as Wetstick, Blacklack, and Chinese George. And it's only when he receives next level help from the imposing Bedivere, Bill the Archer, and a magical mind-reading creature called the Mage that Arthur starts kicking butt and panting for the crown. So first off, he kind of says Charlie Hunnam is better in other things. For example, the Lost City of Z. I assume that's something that he's in right now. Personally, I thought Charlie Hunnam did great in this movie, and I thought his performance was well done, and it was obvious that he put a lot into his performance. He got huge for this movie. He put a lot of effort. I watched some of the bonus features on our Blu-ray disc, and dang, he worked so hard for this movie. He was in competition with a lot of other actors, and he went above and beyond to try to get this role, and he went above and beyond to keep the role. And I thought his performance was very good. As for the Arthur's friends, I liked the names. I thought they were funny, and I thought that they were realistic as to the chemistry that Arthur and these guys had. I thought it was good. They were obviously almost like brothers, and they had that brother relationship of kind of the back and forth banter and kind of what you might call the Marvel quips. And I liked it. The chemistry seemed natural and real, and with that chemistry came the believability of those names. Out of context, just reading this review, that sound weird. But in the movie and in the context and with the good chemistry that the actors have, it was believable. If you're expecting Camelot, show tunes, and what? Okay. You're barking up the wrong director. Ritchie loves the clash of armies, and he proceeds to bury our noses in battle for over 2 punishing, mind-numbing hours. Digital armies do pixelated battle in a manner so generic that they make Nintendo video games seem like the height of sophistication. Talk about sound and fury signifying nothing. So that's his conclusion. It's nothing. It's mindless. It's numbing. It's generic. Personally, I did not think so. I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it was an entertaining movie, and I thought it was an interesting movie. Now, like I said, it's mostly cliches, but there were a few things that were told through flashbacks and a few moments where I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Now, there were few and far in between, but they were fun, and the movie itself was fun, and I don't think you can count that out. I mean, the acting in this movie, the performances and the chemistry I thought was very good, and I thought that the visual style and the editing was some of the best that came out this year. I feel like this review kind of counts that out, and I mean, it might be just a personal choice that I do enjoy the editing style of this movie and the score and things like that, but I think this review is kind of discounting that and discounting all of the good things about this movie, and personally, I think all of the good things about this movie balance it out and actually make it very good. I didn't find the movie not mind-numbing at all, and I thought the action, even when it was just action, looked very cool, and I think it was done done well, and the choreography was good, and the editing was good, and the cinematography was good. And I thought Jude Law's villain character was great. It was a very imposing villain, but he wasn't cheesy. He wasn't over the top. He was good. All in all, I know that it's not an art movie at all, and I know it's not comparable to anything that is of a higher quality than a summer blockbuster. And it's no masterpiece, not even close, but it's a fun blockbuster flick to just eat popcorn and watch with your guy friends. Like, yeah, if you love fantasy movies and this movie's for you, this is just a good blockbuster movie. It's dumb, but it's good. And most importantly, it's fun. If someone disagrees with me, that's fine, and I get it. This movie's not for everyone, and I guess that shows with how it got reviewed. I just think it's sad that the good qualities about this movie just didn't get recognized as much as I wish they did. But yeah, those are my thoughts. And if you have any thoughts that you would like to share, please share in the comments. I might do more videos of this style. I might not. I don't know. I'm seeing how I like it. It's fun to try, and it's good to mix it up a little bit. So yeah, if you enjoyed this kind of reaction and analyzation type video, I would encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, have a great week. See you guys.
Boop, boop, boop.